was the question. And I'm not really even paying attention. That's why he called on me. And I was like, a gravel truck. Because I thought, Cadillac, I thought, you know, as I'm kind of just,
Yeah.
oh man, I'm so bored, gravel truck. And people are like, you know, wait, really? It's not a bad answer because I would
No,
rather
those
be
things
in
go slow.
I'd rather be in a great big dump truck
Yeah.
as opposed to either of those. But that's not what he asked, you
Gravel
know.
truck.
We only found out afterward that he said no, Cadillac, Volkswagen or Cadillac. Oh, okay.
Wait, which teacher was this? Beans?
Science.
No, I can't even remember who the teacher was.
Oh.
So the whole class is erupting in laughter, you know, and not because I'm so funny, but just because I'm an idiot, you know. And he's like, out in the hall. I went out in the hall and whatever, a couple minutes later he comes out there, you know, I'm like, I thought you said gravel truck. So you're an idiot, you know.
If you were paying attention, you would have
Well,
known.
exactly, you know.
Well,
You said gravel truck.
But I was, well, I guess I remember it to this day.
it's not bad.
What would you rather be in, Bobo? You'd rather be in a huge truck. if
Yeah,
you're
that
in
wasn't an
accident.
option.
No.
That is
I'm
not
picking
what he
C,
asked.
No.
gravel truck. Or D, freight train.
Oh my God.
E, the Titanic.
No, the Titanic's
I'd
not.
rather be the iceberg.
Same.
B.
I remember we had a math teacher we could bribe with golf balls. He was such a good guy.
What?
A math teacher. He was like this really old guy, and he was a terrible teacher. He just wouldn't do anything during class.
Mm-hmm.
There was no discipline in the room at all. And I never did it because I couldn't get my hands on golf balls. But like kids used to bring him in golf balls and stuff all the time for favors. Yeah. I couldn't imagine even asking my parents, could you buy me some golf balls to pay the math teacher? I was just like, yeah, I'm failing anyway.
Same.
Dave Spear stood throwing all the books out the window.
Yeah, you told
Dude,
that
that's
one.
my favorite one. Tell that one.
I told you about the guy that when Miss McIntosh left her. Was it Miss
Uh-huh.
McIntosh?
Because you threw it out the window and it was in the...
When she left the classroom once, one guy in my class, I don't know who it was, went up to the whiteboard and took every single whiteboard marker. And we have these windows, and there's like a tall one that you can't, you know, tilt at all. It's just a solid pane of glass. And they have a smaller one way above that that you can kind of angle out.
Mm-hmm.
It's not that way anymore, but that's how it used to be. And he took all of these markers and went,
Oh my God, he was brave.
threw them right out the tilted window into the grass. Miss McIntosh came back and was like, "What happened to my markers?" And years later, I was walking past where that window was, and I looked, and there's like a
Like a boiler
it's
room.
still there. Yeah, there's like a staircase that you can go down to some sort of, you know, like.
Maintenance area.
Yeah, like that's the word I was looking for, like a maintenance access door. So I looked in, like I kind of looked down there, and all the markers are sitting at the base of that stairwell. They're still there.
Nobody told her?
No,
No.
Wow. There's always that one.
Mm-hmm.
Miss?
no.
Oh
The
my
thing
God.
is, everybody was laughing, and I think one person joined in. So we were all as guilty as each other there. So I think nobody got.
And no one stopped it,
No
so...
one stopped it.
Mm-hmm.
Good times.
Her class was fun.
I remember being both. I remember thinking it was funny and horrifying.
The markers are of a class.
The marker incident.
Yeah. As long as you weren't there throwing them out the window.
Mm-mm. Not me.
What was the guy's name that threw the books out of the window, Dad?
Dave Spearstead.
Spearstead.
Everybody had such cool names.
I know, what happened?
You could have formed a superhero team.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God, Brian Martinston and James Spearstead.
I can't remember Dave Spearstead.
Oh, excuse me.
I can't remember if we were on the second or third floor, but it definitely wasn't on the ground floor. because I remember kids talking about it, you know, afterward, like at lunchtime or after school or whatever, that they were sitting there and then all of a sudden a bunch of books, you know, come flying down if they're,
Oh my
if they're
God.
below.
Yeah.
To think that was Beans,
Beans.
Beans.
and he brought this whole cart from the library, a
Oh,
whole
yeah.
cart of books up to the room, and, you know, stacks them up on, well, we had these big windowsills, you know, and stacks them all up there. You have to pick a book and do a report on, I don't remember what, it must have been something in history, you know.
Must have took him ages. He took time to go to the library, pull the books, bring them up.
And then he's, I don't know where he was, obviously was out of the room for a minute, and Spearstead just, you know, just, whoa, and there was a whole, I don't know what it was, 15 books or
Oh my
whatever,
God.
boom, right down to him.
It wasn't snowing, was it?
No, the windows were open, it was in the
No.
summertime. We didn't have air conditioning, you know,
Ugh,
so yeah,
that's stupid.
just a whole group of them, maybe it was 20, I don't know. And you know, of course, I don't even think he noticed, you know, and we got, the bell rings and we go off and it was only, you know, sometime later that all of a sudden, hey, Spearstead
Oh my
gets
God.
pulled out of another class.
Yeah.
Once they finally sorted out what happened, you know. And then we're all like,
Did I tell you about an AP
Nice.
on Friday? Brandon Benesh was reading Hamlet out loud because we're reading Hamlet,
Brandon
and
Benesh.
Brandon Benesh, yeah.
also known as Raptor,
Raptor.
but that's a long
Yeah.
story. I was there.
I was
But,
there too.
Anyway, so we're reading Hamlet as a class, but only certain parts. And Brandon Benesh read a certain line and then kind of like commented under his breath, like, "Wow, Hamlet is such a doo-doo head." And Mr. Novak's, you know, across the room, he's like, "What? Doo-doo head. What? Doo-doo head."
Jesus.
So the entire rest of the period, our like group of four, it's me, Brett, Matt, and Brandon Benesh to a table. The whole rest of the time, we snuck Doodoo Head into everything we could.
This one?
We'd just be like, you know, what does this mean? This means Doodoo Head.
nice.
We're gonna go lunch afterwards.
I can't even think of any good stories.
Kept calling Brett Doodoo Head.
I remember when Andrea Peterson first got here, she was telling us her name. She's got like four names, like Andrea Cecile Sand Peterson, right? That's her.
Pacelli.
No, that's her name. And so she was like, Cecile, it's an island, like it's an island in the Caribbean or something.
In
And she-
Sicily?
Sicily, yeah. But she was like,
That's Italy.
well,
Whatever,
And then it doesn't
finish.
matter. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't in Italy. It was like in the Caribbean, and she was like, yeah, it's an island, and I was like, oh, that's cool. And she goes, I don't think you get it. It's an island. I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. And she was like, it's an island, and so like,
It's not cool.
yeah, I'm like, okay, that's great.
Yeah.
And I was like so confused because I was like, oh, okay. And so like years later, or not years, but you know, like when she, I don't even know when was that, like maybe the 9th grade or something. I was like, oh yeah, freshman year, we were talking and I was like, so it's an island. Like it just like came in my mind and she goes, oh, yeah.
It's hot, not
Yeah.
cool.
She was like, yeah, I hate that name. I was like, I didn't get that. I thought it was cool. It was pretty great. She was chill.
Now it's your turn.
Mama already told the golf ball
I already
story.
told you my story.
No, we could take your turns telling stories. Mama, your turn.
I don't have any more.
Tell the one about on the bike catching the blood.
You've heard that.
Dad, please.
I've
What?
had so many times.
That's my
many
favorite
times.
one.
I fell off my bike.
And then what?
I landed on my face and the backs of my hands.
And then what'd you do?
Mm.
Got up, picked up my bike. Some lady was driving by in her car. She says, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yep." I got back on my bike and started riding. I went like a block and a half or something and realized, hey, I don't have my glasses on. Turned around and went back and got them. They were in the road.
Oh my god.
So, yeah, straight over the handlebars.
That happened to me too, but I hit a light post.
So for some stupid reason, I don't know why, I don't think I was thinking too clearly at the time. And I was up, not far away from where Bunky lives now, you know, up in Putnam Heights. So I had to ride all the way down to the old house on Garfield. And for whatever reason, I'm sitting there, blood's running down my face, and I'm catching it in my hand. I don't know why, because it eventually pooled up and starts running between my fingers, and you know, it gets all over my jeans and all over my bike anyway. So I don't know why I was sitting there riding along in a flipping daze.
I like that one.
Got home, Mom took me in.
She said,
stitches.
"Oh, jeez, Brian."
Yeah, oh, Ufta Maya, I think
Yeah.
is what she said.
Mhm.
Ufta Maya, what have you done now?
Oh, jeez.
Had great big scabs on the back of my hands.
Mhm.
I was, honestly, I was lucky. So I didn't break a bone,
Mhm.
you know. Have you seen pictures of that black eye I had, right?
Yeah.
I've
Good
seen that.
God, I had a massive black eye.
How'd you get that? Was that from the
that,
bike?
yeah.
Oh wow.
You couldn't see the stitches really because they were right in my eyebrow.
Oh, that's why you got a funky eyebrow.
I've got a funky eyebrow.
I swear,
No.
wasn't like right here.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, that's right. I don't know, somewhere
You
right
don't
there.
see it.
And I'm pretty sure because when I picked my glasses up, one bow was sticking like straight out. So I think it was probably like that screw or something that cut me. I don't know. I always imagine that flipping glasses. That came down right on that corner. That's the only time I've ever had a black eye.
Could you wear your glasses? Were they ruined?
No, I don't know if I was able to fix them or not. Actually,
How'd you break your jaw?
playing
Football?
flag football.
Flag football.
But how I can't remember.
Well, somebody pushed me from behind, and I ended up. John Kinseth was. I was going down, and he was coming the other way, and his knee and my jaw
Ouch.
kind of.
Ow.
Yeah,
Excuse me.
collided.
Be careful.
And I'm pretty sure I was knocked out for a couple of seconds because I don't really, I couldn't remember, you know.
Yeah.
I had like a little blank spot there, and I was like, whoa. And then I was on my, you know, like on my hands and knees, and I was like, man. I said, all right, that's it. I'm done. People were giving me a hard time. Oh yeah, I'm like no, yeah. And I was, golly, you know, my whole head was kind of buzzy, you know. That was on a Sunday, and the next day I only ate a cupcake. My jaw hurt. Well, it was broken, you know, so it should hurt. I only ate like a cupcake, and finally on Tuesday I went to the hospital, and I went straight to radiology. I said, I think I need my jaw X-rayed. Well, who's your doctor? I haven't seen one. Well, you have to get, you know, you have to go and see a doctor first. So I went, found some nurse. Yeah, okay, we can get you in. And this is at Middleford Clinic, right up in Putnam Heights. And they're like, yeah, okay, we'll get you in here. You know, so and so can slip you in. So I was in there for 3 seconds. What happened? You know, you know. Yeah, well, let's get an X-ray. I'm like, duh. You know, yeah, I could be a doctor because that's what I said. You should get it X-rayed. And they X-rayed it. It was broken right under my wisdom teeth there
Dang.
on both sides. So they took out my wisdom teeth at the same time.
Mm.
Nice.
2 in 1.
That's
Got a
right.
twofer.
Yeah, they drill little holes in each side of the brake. You know, cut through the whatever, the skin, and then they run a little wire around, tighten that up. I've still got wire in my jaw on each side there. That's what they hold it together like that, and then they put almost like braces on and clamp your teeth down like that.
And then you have to drink out of straw. And I remember you told me about that.
So I think that was 2 months. I think it was 8 weeks.
Wow.
You know,
Oh, I was so skinny. That was unbelievable.
Didn't you stick your tongue to a pole once? Was that you?
Yeah.
that's pretty much everyone.
Good one, Dad.
I've stuck my tongue to a pole, but I've never gotten it stuck there because I had a plan beforehand.
Yeah.
It's a spit ramp.
Yeah. Well, the best thing is most people panic and pull.
Yeah.
If you just sit there and let your tongue warm up the metal enough, eventually it'll just come off.
Yeah,
But you may have to sit there for a minute.
but my technique is much faster
Yeah.
because spit is warmer.
Indeed.
That's where people get in trouble, though. It sticks, and then they want to pull right away. Nah.
Wait, how did you do the toe thing? With the at bunks?
Yeah, up at the station, he got a new blower in the car wash, you know, the thing that dries off.
Oh, yeah.
So the old one, he wanted to scrap, and you can get, rather than just turning in everything as scrap metal, you can get more if you turn in the motors, electric motors, because they have copper wiring in them. Well, that thing had been in the car wash so long that I couldn't get, you know, it's a big motor. It's like that long, probably that big around, you know, and then it's got a shaft that goes on, and then there's a great big fan on there. Well, I couldn't get it apart, so I thought, okay, I'll use a cutting torch, and I cut all the way around, and my plan then was just to pull that part off, and we could turn it in separately, right? Make more money from it. Well, that motor's on a, you know what angle iron is? It's kind of like an L-shaped piece of metal.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a frame made out of this kind of metal. And so I went, cut all the way around, and I had a pry bar, and I was prying on it, and it looked like, man, that should come right off, you know. And it didn't, so I started going a little harder. At first I was pretty careful, because I thought, you know, that's really heavy. When that goes, I don't want to have my feet under there. But then after a while, I'm like, well, let me try a little, you know, maybe if I just, and finally it went almost like a hinge, you know, so it broke away at the top, and the whole thing came down, whack, right on my toe. So, that's what happened.
But didn't you see your friend at the hospital? Or your dad's friend?
No, my friend's dad was.
Oh.
Yeah, as they were rolling me into the elevator to go down for surgery, Dr. Merritt, Tom Merritt's dad.
Tom Merritt. Tom Merritt.
Tom Merritt,
Wow.
Yeah.
He was like,
member number 3.
geez, Bri.
Oh, yeah.
Gee, Bri.
Yeah.
Jeez, Bri.
It's like, what did you do? So I cut my toe off.
I got you, fam.
That's
So
great.
they cleaned it up, sewed it back, and
Dang.
put a nice little shoe cast on with a metal bumper on the front
Yeah.
to protect my toe. And after, that was probably, I don't know what,
You have to crease
6
that
or 8
in.
weeks.
Yeah.
And after a
Or
while,
you can
I
crease
started walking on the back of
the
that
bulk.
cast. It's not a walking cast like Mom had.
Yeah.
I just walked around on my heel, and it crushed all the plaster and stuff, and then I was able to slide that thing off just like a shoe. So when I would be sitting on the couch, I'd slide it off. Then I'd slide it back on. When I went to get it taken off, I rode my motorcycle to the doctor. He's like, well, let's get that cut off of there. And I just pulled it right off. He says, oh, I guess it's feeling pretty good then. Not bad.
I remember I could do that when I broke my arm. Like I could slip my arm out of the cast and like wash my arm, let it
Ooh.
breathe. I know.
So that's why your arm's so funky looking.
It's not funky looking.
Pretty sure
Well.
it is.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
But it was sweaty because we were in Texas.
Yeah.
I was sweating and I was like, this is gross.
You've always been a sweater.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah. from way back. Remember, Bo?
Mhm.
Even in the crib.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
Great big sweat stains.
Yeah, stain
What
spots.
the? Well, I thought she had a diaper on. Well, she does. No, that's sweat. We think it was pee. No,
Uh-huh.
Oh.
no, just sweat. Luckily, it was air conditioned. Otherwise, it really, you know,
Oh
been
my
a
God.
small swimming pool.
True.
I might have drowned.
Yeah.
Poor Evan.
She's
when
dehydrated
you share a
again.
crib.
How can she dehydrate so fast? Have you ever seen her sweat? She's 3 years old. She still hasn't peed.
Oh my
She
God.
sweats it all out.
That's impossible, sir. It's scientifically improbable. If
Not
not
creased.
impossible, that's totally creased. What are you talking about? It's the
Bobo,
best
you want
crease
another
I've ever
one?
seen.
Pardon?
You want another?
Yes, please.
Bring you one up?
Mm.
Dasha, can I fill your water for you?
Hi guys.
Are you interested in anything else or just water today?
Excellent pizza.
Thanks,
Padre.
Dad.
Thank you.
Love you.
Love you.